Hey, what's going on, good people? Hey, by now, everybody should be back in school or gearing up to be in school. So, I'm gonna give you guys a couple tips, especially for my parents. Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of a movement called Mental Heal, which focuses on men's overall wellness, our mental health, emotional health, and physical health. Definitely appreciate everybody who checking out the movement. Continue to do so. And I'm also the author of a book called Man Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planner guide for boys and men to better express themselves. Thanks to all the parents who went out and bought this tool, especially for the young men in your lives. All the partners who got this tool, especially for that you're doing these activities over date nights and dinners and things like that. I definitely appreciate it. And of course, salute to my fellow clinicians who are using these tools as an intervention within session. I'm humbled, I'm honored. And if you do want to get that tool, definitely go to Barnes & Nobles, Target, Walmart, Amazon, anywhere books are sold, including my website, mentoheal.com, www.mentoheal. And please continue to like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. Drop some comments, email me, or send me an inbox on what kind of video you want me to do, and I'll definitely be sure to do that. I definitely appreciate you. So when we're talking about going back to school, it is different and unusual. Of course, last year ended early for a lot of different school districts based on the COVID situation. So some people were on virtual, some people were doing a hybrid. And this school year, it's similar like that, especially with those options, whether it's virtual, whether it's a hybrid option, or whether it's in person. So just a couple of tips that the parents can use if you have a child that's K through 12. So back to school season is beginning. It's not uncommon for both the parent and the child to have a little bit of anxiety around it, especially, again, like the COVID situation, just unusual that some just drastic has happened during the school year. And if you take an example of what happened last school year, you probably can plan a little bit better. So these are just tips. Feel free to add to them, take them as a suggestion, or do whatever you need to do. So getting back into the school year routine, of course, is always challenging. Especially since you had fun this summer or you was locked down due to the pandemic. So it all depends. But it was a little bit less restrictions than it was last summer, so that kind of helps. There are also likely questions about the health and safety of your child making that transition back into the classroom, or if they're staying home. So just plan accordingly what's best for you and your family. There's definitely a couple tips that you can assist you with rolling with the punches to keep your child thriving for this upcoming school year. Just looking at the news and looking at different articles and journals and things, they made it seem as if the education was declining for children who were, doing virtual schooling opposed to being in class and things. So you definitely want to stay on top of that. If you are a parent, you definitely want to ensure that you're looking into what's best for you and your situation. So one of the biggest tips I can give you is set expectations. So you, your child, and your teacher or the other administrators, explain to your child that this school year experience may look different than last year. Again, some people finished out last school year, some people did the hybrid thing, and some people just was virtual, so it all depends. But explain that to your child that it could look different. And depending on the school district, they may be required to wear masks or have a certain social distancing, or even in bubbles. I've seen different things on social media in regards to all of those things. So, again, communicate with your child. Take the time to answer the questions using age-appropriate language and gentle, so they'll know that things are pretty much normal or abnormal depending on the concept in which you want to deliver that message. And heads up, like if you don't know how to talk to your children, or it's a previous video that I did probably a year ago now on parenting conversations, tough parenting conversations. So feel free to scroll back, check out that video. If the school conversation is difficult for you, you can, that video will help you engage in conversations about gender, or about politics and relationships and peer pressure and so many other things. So check out that video. But back to the tips. Set some different standards for you and your children. while remote learning definitely has its drawbacks and benefits depending on which side you're on, be sure that your child is engaging, whether that's in person or virtual or the hybrid option. And from last year to this year, rolling out of bed and studying in their pajamas was like pretty much convenient. I know my daughters definitely enjoyed that, but now they both are back on campus full time. They had a hybrid option, but they said they wanted to go back. We respected that decision. We just educated them on the safety and what they can do. So feel free to do the same for yours, but of course you run your household, do what's best for you and your family. Remind your child about how things were much earlier. They would need to wake up early. They probably need to go to sleep early. So again, it's your house, set your standard. I know the bedtime here is 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock, shut it down. No tablet, no phone. Everything is pretty much done. But way before that, shower's already taken care of. We've already eaten dinner as a family and things, game nights or whatever we were doing, just to make sure that they were good. So we also have something else that I did proactively, was to make sure that we got the morning routine down. And this is something that we started towards the end of the summer. So by the time, of course, the school year happened, they will already have it. If at all possible, aim to get more formal routine down several weeks before it even happened. Like I said, start way before. But now, of course, you just seen this video and you can use this tip. Start immediately just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. This will allow your child time to gradually, whether that's setting an alarm, whether that's waking up early and earlier just from their own discipline that you instilled in them, or just so they wouldn't be surprised when it's time to get up a little bit earlier. See how long they take in the morning, whether that's to get dressed, whether that's to have breakfast, whether that's to look over some notes. It all depends. They might want to take a few extra minutes to create their own buffer time. I know for me, when I was in school many years ago, I used to get up early just to flip through some things. And for me, I'm like a morning person, but my daughters now, not so much. So, they set their alarm a little bit earlier just so they can hit the snooze maybe once or twice, and then they hop in the shower and get that routine going, eat breakfast. So again, it all depends. But I know this from observing them leading up to the school year, not just starting now, so you can use these tips. And something else that you want to do is create an evening routine too. The best way to make sure that your mornings are stress-free is to take care of everything you need to take care of the night before or the day before. Listen, if you need to write down this routine, stick it on the fridge so everybody who needs to be a part of it understands it, whether I'm taking my daughters to school or whether they're catching a bus or, whatever they need to do. All they got to do is look at the fridge and see, all right, cool, check. So whether that's preparing their lunch, whether that's packing the backpack, I got to sign some papers, or they got homework, all of that stuff is done the day before. Laying out the outfits, getting our showers at the end of the night, making sure breakfast is thawed out because that's important. You don't want to wake up and waffles are frozen and, all the other foods are probably frozen as well. So the day before would definitely help you with that. And also you want to be proactively in setting those alarms the day before too, so you wouldn't oversleep, So those things are definitely important. And one of the biggest tips that I can give you too is schedule family time, because of course you're back at work, they're back in the flow of school, the school, so it might be a little bit limited. This past year, many families had the opportunity to spend more and more time together. I was fortunate. I was in here, or I was in my shoe closet, my daughter was in here, or she was at the table. Those things were like a blessing. We spent mad amounts of time together, and I probably annoyed her. I probably got on her nerves, but either way, it was a joyous time. So it's a change, because now, of course, she's back in a routine. She's going to school a couple hours a day. Then eventually they may have after-school programs starting up. So the purpose of that is, what I'm saying is, have that family time. You still want to engage as much as you can with your child. So suddenly you have to spend hours away from each other, from the home. It can be an adjustment. And for some people, it can cause a little bit of anxiety, especially in addition to the health issues, safety protocols that's going on. But now, new grades level, new teacher, new peers in the classroom, or interacting with peers. Some, if they are, doing a virtual option, it can be difficult. So you want to ensure that you're easing that burden by interacting with them, comforting them, helping ensure your child feels supported and that they get as much family time as they can, so they can be accustomed to having this block of time within their own schedule. I know my daughters look forward to game night, and if you're familiar with me and social media or whatever, like, you'll know that we do debtor days, so it's different activities that we do throughout. Just make it happen, just so they can be comfortable with seeing and observing a model male, a positive family aspect, all those different dynamics. So it's definitely helpful and beneficial to your child when you do that. And also, you got to remember that the influences outside of your home may be greater than your influence, being that social media now, peer pressure now, it's just so much. So you definitely want to ensure that you are instilling in your child proper values, morals, and different things. Whether your child is thrilled to go back to school or see their friends or, hesitant, it may change throughout. Right now they may say, oh man, I don't want to go back, or yeah, I definitely want to go back. But that can change as the school year continue to progress. So they may need the support from you to feel comfortable with either decision that they decide to. Let your child know that they're not alone. This is not nothing new. Remind them that you will be facing any challenges that may rise together as a unit. Your child should be able to feel that they can support and get that from you. Always be there for them, no matter, regardless of the school year, whether it's summer school or the regular school year. You definitely want to ensure that you're putting yourself in a position to where your child can feel comfortable with saying, hey, mom, dad, I got this homework assignment, I don't know what it is. Or, hey, mom, dad, I think I want to go to virtual. Or, hey, mom, dad, I think I want to go hybrid. Or, hey, mom, dad, I think I want to go on campus for a time. I don't think the pandemic is what it is. Or I'm not receiving as much as I can from being on virtual. So either way, set up the atmosphere to where your kids will feel comfortable. If you got any questions, hit me up. www.mentoheal.com, www.mentoheal.com. Definitely appreciate you for checking me out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.